We have Shannon. Shannon, you said you're... Okay. Hold on. Dating apps complicate but also help current dating. Having a dating roster, talking to multiple men at once while dating as a woman is a good thing.
I think that a lot of men date multiple women at once, and that women should also probably be dating multiple men at once. I think having a roster that you're not sleeping with is probably a good thing when you are dating, just to kind of have different options, I guess, and just kind of like see who you're a best fit with, but also to not waste your own time.
Okay. Who do you think has the ability to be dating multiple people? Like, who has a better ability to do that, men or women? Because you said, well, a lot of guys do this, ergo, women should do it too, because men do it.
I think it's only fair that both do it. I mean, in the talking stages in the dating world, I think that some people only talk to one person at a time, but I think majority of people who are looking for a long-term relationship, they go on dates with multiple people at the same time to kind of feel it out.
Now, you said it's only fair if both do it. Is it, going back to the previous discussion, is it only fair that women pay for dates? Or pay for themselves on dates, excuse me?
If a woman wants to pay for herself on a date, she can, but I don't think that's the norm.
Why not?
Because of what I said before, there's chivalry. A lot of men still want to, at least for the first couple dates, pay to show romantic interest.
No, none of them anymore want to pay for dates.
They don't want to do that anymore?
No.
Well, then they're probably not getting second or third dates.
So,
Right.
well then it's not really a matter of, because you kind of frame this like, I'm doing this big favor to them by allowing them to embrace their chivalrous nature and pay for my date. Wow, how nice of me to do that for them. But as it turns out, that's not really the case. The case is that you just want them to pay for the date, right? That's actually what the case is.
I think because it shows romantic interest. I think a lot of women, if a man doesn't pay for the first or second date, they think, oh, maybe this guy is just interested in being friends, or they see down the line, oh, we're going to be going 50-50 on everything if I'm already paying 50-50 for a first date, or if I'm paying fully for the first date, then what makes me think this man's not gold digging after me?
Yeah, but if he's going 50-50 with you, I don't understand what's the actual problem with that.
On the first couple dates, I think a lot of women, it's kind of like guys are keeping it safe, like, oh, I don't want to spend all this money on this girl, but you know that if they were with like their dream woman, then they would have usually no problem paying the entire thing. So it's kind of showing
Well, couldn't
their
you just
interest
reverse
level.
the logic there and say, okay, if you're with your dream man, you'd have no problem paying for everything?
Personally, my dream man would not have me paying for everything.
Yeah, but that's beside the point, right? So I understand that's not your preference, but couldn't the logic itself be applied the same way? So if you say, the type of man, the dream guy is going to pay for everything, wouldn't the reverse of that for the man be, okay, the dream girl pays for everything? Wouldn't that be the same standard apply?
Sure, if that's what their dream woman does, then that's their dream woman. You can't argue that.
So how is the idea that you want them to pay for the meal anything short of entitlement?
I don't think it's entitled. I think that, what is he doing?
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
I think that's just kind of how our society has normally been, that men show chivalry through these acts of, whether it be
Paying
holding
for all your shit?
Not all of it, but I think at the very beginning of dating, there is the courting phase where a man should bring flowers, should hold the doors open, and pay for the date.
Wait,
what does the woman do? Just show up?
Yes, I was going to say,
Yeah.
What should women do then?
You should show up looking your best and prepared for the date, and I would hope that...
Nothing. So the expectation is that you put on makeup and show up? That's really the expectation?
Makeup's pretty expensive.
Oh, boy. Do we have to do
That's
the math
true.
on this? Wait, is that the justification though?
Is this just like a summary of the podcast?
What is?
What this person
Here,
dragging
I think
this
it's
like-
pull it
somebody
up
who
later.
would never
We'll-
had a
we'll
chance
pull
with
it up
any of
later.
us anyway.
We'll pull it up later. Disregard.
No, I think that women go into dates with the expectation, some women, of that I want this to be a long-term committed relationship. And I think a guy even having a woman give them the courtesy of going on a date with them when so many women are nervous and afraid to go out one-on-one on dates with men, like, yeah, I think...
So it's a privilege. It's a privilege to pay for your date.
I think it's a privilege. Yeah, I think it's a privilege to be seen out in public with a woman you find attractive.
So it's not that women are privileged in that you're privileged because you have the expectation that men will pay for the dates they go on. It's actually that men are privileged because they're allowed to take you on a date. They should be grateful, those sons of bitches.
To even back in the day, to even like be on a date with a woman, you had to usually like ask her father and have a good job and already have some type of like thing you could provide to her to even get
but
the
that's
first
an appeal.
date.
You're just appealing to history, right? That is not the day we live in. That is not the age we live in.
Some people
you definitely
like
don't have to ask women's fathers to take them on dates.
Some do though, and there's some people who are still old-fashioned in that sense.
Yeah, but there's expectations that came with that. So, for instance, the expectation for chivalry, you can't just give the one side of the coin and say, well, once upon a time, men were very chivalrous, and they were only, when they would take us on dates, they'd pay for everything, they would bring us flowers, et cetera, et cetera. That's all true. But what about the other side of the coin, which was the women's responsibility? Like, oh, here's one. You only date one guy at a time, right? You're not dating any other guy while you're dating one guy. That would be a responsibility that the woman had. They're always on time. They're always presentable. Also, they're good company. That would have been a requirement for them as well. None of those are requirements for women now. Why would any of those be requirements for men?
I mean, for some men, having a woman who's good company is a requirement, and those women who don't bring that to the table for that particular guy also don't get second or third dates.
Yeah, but your expectation isn't that just traditional men pay for the dates. The expectation would be non-traditional men also pay for the dates, right?
If you're a non-traditional man, and then you wouldn't necessarily pay for the date, that makes sense. But most traditional men would pay for a first date.
And is that what you're after, as a traditional man?
I'm kind of in the middle because I'm not planning to be a stay-at-home mom, so I don't need someone who's a full-blown provider.
So then why do they pay for the date? I don't get why. What are they paying for the date for if they're traditional and non-traditional men?
They value that a woman is out being their company and they enjoy the company.
Do you think that when men were chivalrously paying for everything for women, that they would have the expectation that the women would be virgins?
Probably back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, and do you think that they can have any such expectation now?
Some men, yeah. Some men do want women who are virgins.
No. Do you think that they can have the expectation that almost any woman they go on a date with is actually going to be a virgin in this day and age?
They could ask beforehand, or they could get to know the woman and
that's
figure
not
it
my
out.
question. My question is, do you think that most men would have the expectation that basically any woman they went on a date with would be a virgin?
I think it depends on how they met the woman. If it's off of a random dating app, then perhaps...
Wait, I just got to come in on that. But do random women on dating apps have the expectation that men should pay for first dates?
Usually, yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
But just because a woman's not a virgin doesn't mean you don't pay for the first date.
Yeah, but here's the thing. So all you're doing is saying that men should have this holdover responsibility of chivalry from a bygone era, where they had the expectation that the women that they were with were only dating them and also were virgins. Don't you think that that's kind of a raw end of the deal for men now?
Well, men nowadays can, it's legal to go 50-50 or have a woman pay on a first date. It's not illegal. It's just preferences.
It never was.
Yeah, it's just preferences. So, sure, men back in the day wanted to go and pay for everything for specifically a virgin. And now the goalpost has shifted where men want to go on dates with women and they may or may not be virgins, but it's kind of an odd thing to ask before going on the first date.
Well, wait, almost none of them are going to be. Almost none.
Okay, then they should hold out for someone who is, if that's what they want.
Right, but why? So basically, if a woman or if a man would have the preference of a very low body count or virgin woman, and it goes out on any date with a woman who isn't that, why the hell would he pay for everything? That just makes no sense.
Then he wouldn't, and that's not the girl for him. So I understand him wanting to go 50-50, but also
Me too.
there wouldn't be a first date. Like, I think if you have these sort of, not rule breakers, but like dating non-negotiables, then that's something that you should probably put in the talking stage before you go on a physical date with that person and spend your hard-earned money.
Yeah, but why should there be an expectation if a woman is not traditional? She slept with like many, many men, for instance, okay? Or any number of these non-traditional traits that modern women have. Why should they have any expectation to have any sort of traditionalism out of a man, like paying for dates, opening doors, and chivalry? I don't even understand. How is that anything other than entitlement? I'm not going to do any of the expectations for the things that women used to do for this chivalry, but I still want the chivalry. Can you explain how that's not actually entitlement?
I guess it's just to each their own. Like, I would expect a man to not be a virgin, I would expect, a man to not be a virgin, but still be wanting to pay on a first date. So why myself going on a first date potentially as a non-virgin would I expect a man to not want to pay? I mean, if
if you're not a virgin and he's not a virgin, I still don't understand why he's paying here.
Because
I still
men
don't get
value
that.
having a woman to go out with. If he didn't want to pay, he didn't want to be there, he wouldn't ask the person on the date in the first place.
Well, that's bizarre. If you wouldn't accept, I would hope, if you didn't want to be there and didn't want to go with him, unless it was just for the purpose of getting like a free dinner out of it.
No, I don't think most women are going
Well,
on
then if
first
it's not,
dates
if
for
you're
that.
not going to get free shit, then you're there for the same reason he's there, right?
No, I'm there to see if there's potential for a long-term relationship.
The
I think a
same that
lot of
he's there for.
I think he's there for the potential of a long-term relationship or a short-term relationship. I think
So would
men
any
go
other
out
woman.
with any
So
woman.
but that's the preferences of almost anybody. So any woman going out with a man, it could be the same thing, right? But the thing is, I assume that if a man asks you out, you're not there because you want free shit. You're there because you want to know the potentiality of having a long-term relationship with him.
Yes.
If that is the case, then again, you haven't really shown me why he's supposed to pay for everything other than you just want him to.
Well, we answered the love at first sight question, so most of us agree that love at first sight isn't a thing, but attraction and wanting to get to know the person further is. So if you've been messaging on a dating app or you met in person, you already have this initial attraction and want to get to know the person
Yep.
more. So then if you're a guy and you want the chance of getting to know a woman further, usually you would pay for the date and not go 50-50 because
Well, wait. Isn't the woman going on the date to also do the same thing, get to know him further? Otherwise, why is she going?
yeah, and I want to know what kind of guy you are, and if you're going to make me pay for the bill or split, that's to me a bad sign of a long-term relationship. Like, you're already expecting off the bat for me to be paying half.
Why is that an unreasonable expectation?
Just for me personally, it's just not my cup of tea. I just don't think that it shows true romantic interest. Like, I want them to be investing in the relationship, not only time, but also some finances.
I mean, it seems like a complete double standard, but I won't belabor the point.
I think that's why a lot of guys maybe don't get second or third dates, because sometimes it's just from splitting the bill. Maybe some women just don't like that approach. But also, I think maybe if the chemistry and the vibe is off, and even if the guy pays the whole bill, they might not get a second or third date because the vibe's just off. It just kind of depends on the person you're dating.